What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are changing the water pump on the old 7.3 here. Last night I noticed there was a wet spot under the truck, and upon further investigation it looked like I started the truck up first. It was like coolant on the ground. I started the truck up and I saw some coolant leaking from around the crankshaft pulley back down there, and it was running down there. And so best I can tell is that we were losing fluid from the weep hole. That's best I could tell. Anyways, I figured I'd never change the water pump since I've owned the truck, and it's really not that hard. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, get it out of the way. I think it was coming from the weep hole, so that would be a bad water pump anyways. So we're gonna get going at it. I am gonna have to take the reservoir, which I've already got kind of off, so I'm gonna maneuver this around. I'm gonna take the fan shroud off. It should be like 4 bolts, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And you know, we'll get started with that. But for this reservoir, it's 3 bolts. There's 1, 2, and then right here 3. And this little puppy should be able to, hopefully, if I can do it without causing any damage. There we go. Kind of swing this around. That way I don't have to disconnect it. So that'll swing around. I did get a clutch fan puller from Advanced Auto Parts. I rented it. It's like 60 bucks or something. And there it is. So this should give me hopefully everything I need. I'm not 100% sure if it's the right size or not, to be honest, but I should have, I would think, the right size in one of these. So this one is the right size for the 99 7.3 diesel. I guess it's the 47 millimeter or 1 7/8 inch. Wear gloves. Anyways, so that's the one I'm going to be using for this project. So I'm going to try to go as in detailed as I can on this, just to help anyone out there who may not know what to do. I got the premium water pump here. Anyways, this is it, and comes with some bolts for this flange here, and it actually comes with a whole new bottom flange. So not all of the kits come with this, but this one does. So hopefully they have the gasket. Yeah, it looks like they have the gasket for this too. So I'm assuming this will probably go like Yeah, I think it goes like this. So it looks like you've got an 8mm right here, a 8mm here, and it looks like that's it. So it's got the two 8mm at the top, and then this thing just clips in, so it pulls up and it frees it up. So that's super easy. Okay guys, so I hooked up that one, the 40 whatever it was millimeter, onto the fan, and then I hooked up this other one, 58mm, and that goes right around here, the pulley, and then obviously you pry this counterclockwise, and the fan gets loose. So now I should be able to unwind the fan. Fortunately, it wasn't on there very tight, you know, to where it was like seized or stuck on there. So going to pull this off, just unwind it. And I don't want to risk dropping this fan, so I'm going to try to use two hands here. I'm going to take off these last two 8mm. You possibly could have done this first. All right. It looks like I'm gonna have to take off this hose first before I can get this shroud out of the way. Okay, you can see it right there. That's the one I'm gonna go for, hopefully. Whew, that is tight. All right, a little bit of change of plan. I'm going to just open that up and just use the little valve there to empty out some fluid. I just don't want to make a huge mess on the ground, so that is what I'm going to do. Going to be kind of slow probably because it's such a small hole, but I've got nothing else to do. Maybe we'll come over here, and while we're waiting, maybe we'll fire this old boy up. There we go. Really need to get the exhaust on there all the way, but still haven't done that. I'm gonna try to pop this off. things are so strong. Alright, let's see. Perfect. Alright, so slip this out. Alright, so we got the fan. Yeah, I probably want to. What's happening? Okay. Looks like we got a little leaking going on still. All right. So now that we have this off, before you take your belt off, go ahead and loosen these 4 off for the pulley. Okay guys, I kind of forgot to charge my batteries, so I had 1 battery left, and I'm hoping it gets me through this whole project. But anyways, so the next step, like I was saying, take these 4 bolts, loosen them up just a bit, and then we'll go ahead and take this belt off. So one of the things I love about working on the 7.3 on mine is that they have this plastic shroud here. It's perfect for setting tools down, nuts and bolts and stuff like that. So it's a 10 millimeter. I think in most typical cases, this would work, like it would come off with this. However, it is definitely not coming off with me right now. So I think I'm going to grab a little torch and give it a zap of heat. Alright, so that did the trick, I guess. A little heat. Loosen that right up. So heat kind of did the trick. So I just heated it, each bolt up just a little bit, and used my little drill here. It's not like an impact, like a big like 1/2 inch impact or even 3/8. It's just a little drill, but it does the job for now. Alright, so now the next step is to take the belt off, and there's a little notch right there built specifically for your 1/2 inch breaker bar or whatever you're using 1/2 inch wise, and then you just go counterclockwise with it like that. I'm gonna need 2 hands to pull the belt off. And there you have it. Be careful because the radiator is right here. You don't want to damage that. Kind of remember, most trucks have like a diagram for which way the belt goes back on, like over here. But if you don't have that, just keep in mind, you know, what the orientation of the belt came off in. Not that you can't figure it out, but it's just makes it a little quicker for you. Now we can pull these 2 bolts the rest of the way out. Don't pull them all the way out. Don't pull all of them all the way out, because that'll make the pulley crooked, and it could, you know, when it's under pressure, tension, it could do something weird. Next step is going to be, I'm going to take off this connection here. I had troubles, I remember, with this, because I replaced them once and I had troubles with the bolts loosening them up. They did not want to come out, so not 100% sure what I'm going to do. I think right now I'm going to start by taking off these. I believe that's like a 13. Okay. So there's a 13 mil right here and then a 13 on the bottom. So once you get that connection down there off, then the next thing I'm going to do, typically I would take this triangle fitting off right now as well, but I'm gonna do it out of the truck. So I'm going to next take off this right here, that fitting. This plug right here, you just push down and it pops out. Get that out of the way. Alright, so this one for your temperature sensor is a 19 millimeter. Well, that's easy enough, huh? Thought it was gonna be like super hard, but it's not that tight at all. Okay, once you do that, should be just the bolts now holding the water pump on. This is your water pump right here. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. From what I can see and feel, it looks like there's just 9 bolts holding these on. There will be like shorter and longer bolts, so if you're not sure where, if you're not sure you'll be able to figure out where they go, then keep track as you pull them out where the shorter and longer bolts. Alright, so the water pump is out now. You're going to want to clean up the surface where it will mate up to the new water pump. Alright, since I don't need this old water pump anymore, I'm going to put it in the vise and try to get them out, maybe heat them up again or something. I don't know. That did it. Now that we got it off, I'm gonna pop out the thermostat like that, and we're over at the new water pump. Alright, so it does come with 2 new bolts for this flange down at the bottom, which is cool. Alright, so here's the top here. Gonna slide the thermostat back down in. Picked up a new gasket for the thermostat. It's a square one. Just make sure that's all clean. Alright, and then the gasket just goes around the center like that. I've got the 8mm bolts here. There is probably a torque spec for these bolts, but with me going into aluminum, I prefer to torque them just by feel. It's just something I do. So if you want to look up the torque specs, you're more than welcome to. However, I just make sure they're on there nice and snug. So I actually should have looked in this kit before I opened up that, because it came with all the gaskets for it. So I guess I'll just keep this for an extra if I ever need it. Alright, so what I decided to do is just put the old one back on of this, because it was in fine shape, and on this end it was stuck super hard onto the actual hose. So I'm just gonna swap this gasket over to the new one and just put that back on. It'll be easier that way. The last step before I put this in is just to line up this gasket where it should go. Pretty self-explanatory. Just match up the shape. It's got these little tabs that you can wedge down in there to keep it in. Alright, when it's all in, it should look something exactly like that. And now it's time to put it in, so I'm not going to show you guys that. Pretty self-explanatory. Hold this up and put the screws in the holes where they came out of. Okay, water pump is in. Now I'm just going to go back around. I'm going to hand torque these down again to what I feel is an appropriate amount. Once I do that, I'm going to stick these fittings back in. This will fit over and there will be a gasket there. I'm going to put that gasket on, but I'm also going to put some just sealant on the thread. And same thing with the temperature sensor. I'm going to clean this up, stick some probably gasket maker or something on there just to give it a nice tight seal. And that will be that. Alright guys, got the belt back on, got all these bolts tightened down, got the fittings back on. At this point, I think you guys can put it back together the way you took it apart. So all that's next now is put the fan back on and the shroud, and make sure you fill it up with coolant and you'll be good to go. Well guys, I just wrapped up the water pump on my 7.3 and it's running good and it's holding water like it should. So if you guys wake up in the morning and you see a puddle of coolant under your truck, first thing I would check is probably the weep hole. That's very common. If it's a big substantial puddle underneath like mine was, if it's just a little bit, it may not be that, but there you go. I hope it's been helpful. I'm out.